It's Nightcap right here on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Jake Asman hanging out with you this evening till 1 a.m. Eastern time. And there is a big time UFC fight in Denver this upcoming Saturday night. And one of the best UFC fighters of all time is headlining the event. Thug Rose Namajunas will be taking on a fighter who, at the very last second, got inserted into the matchup. That's Tracy Cortez, who's taking the fight against Thug Rose. And Thug Rose is kind enough to join us here on the show tonight. Rose, really appreciate your time. And I have to start with this because we, of course, are pre-taping this. It's during the day right now. You're sitting outside at your home in Denver. So this fight Saturday night is actually a homecoming for you.
It is, yeah. I am very grateful to be here. This is my first time fighting here, and yeah, I've traveled all around the world. I've gone to Abu Dhabi, Brazil, Vegas a bunch of times, New York, everywhere. And so, just being able to be here, it's a little weird, like we're trying to mimic, being somewhere else, not necessarily, but like trying to keep the same fight week feels, not be too comfortable, but also really enjoy just the blessings of being able to be here.
For you personally, does it feel like a homecoming? I know you said that you're trying to make it feel like fight week, but I'm sure just the ticket request and everything that goes into being back in your home city, this must be a wild experience for you.
It is, yeah, especially because I'm one for like, no one watch me, don't look at me, I really enjoy just the fight itself, and everything that comes with it is obviously that's what makes it exciting, but that's also what makes it stressful for the athletes sometimes. But it's all a part of it. It's what we sign up for. It's what we get paid the big bucks for. So, or if we want big bucks, that's what we got to do.
For you personally, what has the training process been like? Obviously, your original opponent pulled out and you have a different opponent now on short notice. What was that transition like for you?
Yeah, I was definitely disappointed when I first heard. I was like, dang, and because I was really looking forward to that matchup. Um, and then the I had a day of practice, right after like finding out where it wasn't so good. And I've kind of had like an adrenaline dump, sort of like and it's crazy because like this whole training camp was like, usually I kind of have at least a couple bad days of where I'm just, nothing's working right, or nothing's, my body's not responding, kind of a thing. And so we adjust for those days. And but up until that point, I wasn't having really any bad days. Um, and, but that day, it was definitely a rough session. And but then I recovered and I adjusted and put it out of my mind. And once I found out that there's another fight on the table, it wasn't like 100%. It took a while. Like it took like probably about a week to get it solidified. But as soon as I knew that somebody else could be stepping in, I switched my focus to like, all right, I got to focus on this new person. And I can't be worried about living in the past, or just be disappointed about something, that I can't control.
We're talking with former UFC two-time champion Thug Rose Namajunas, who, of course, will be part of the UFC card headlining the big fight in Denver this upcoming Saturday night against Tracy Cortez. Rose, for you in your career, you're making the transition, of course, from the division you previously were in when you were a two-time champion at strawweight to now fighting as a flyweight. Can you take our audience inside why you decided to make that competition change and what that has allowed you to do in this process to get ready for all these fights coming up here?
Yeah. Well, one, I felt like the weight was just like each weight cut that I was doing was just getting a little harder. And I was cutting a lot of weight. At least for me, I felt like it was a lot. I know a lot of people do big cuts and stuff, but it's just not. I'm one for health and wellness, and I know like some of what we do is pretty dangerous and things like that. But if I can minimize my health, I guess, you know, like I guess deterioration, and I'm gonna take care of my health as much as possible. And then as far as, but like I said, I mean, I could still make it. It's just it would have to be for a really good reason, because I already fought the top of the division twice. Like so. Um, yeah, it's just kind of like, and yeah, there's like new names and there's always new people to fight, but it just kind of just where I'm at in my life and my age and stuff. I've always thought about moving up eventually, and so this is just the perfect timing. I just turned 32, so I don't have that much time left in my career to do something like this. So it's just an opportunity that I jumped on. And after losing my belt to Carla, it was kind of like to just get up, get excited for the same kind of division and the same thing again. It just kind of felt like it was just going to be hard to do, especially because like Whaley's the champ and I beat her twice. So it's just like to do it a third time. Not to say that it would be, it's not to say that I wouldn't do that, but I feel like there's better, more interesting fights to have. And also I want to become two division champion. So yeah, like I can always be convinced to move back down, but if there's no reason to, then I'm gonna do this, and and then this is my last, um I guess the goal that I want to achieve for my career, as far as like, not financially, but just like accolades and stuff. Like once I can become two division champion, then that's kind of it for me, I guess.
UFC Flyweight contender, former champion at strawweight. Thug Rose is with us here on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Jake Asman with you here on Nightcap till 1 a.m. Eastern time. Rose, let me ask you this. For you personally, what is like the biggest adjustment going from 115 to 125, right? Kind of reference the weight cutting there, but take us kind of inside how different the camp now is, the process of getting ready for a fight at the different weights.
As of right now, I've gotten to the point where I am walking around at a heavier weight. So like once I got through that process of like kind of lifting more and trying to eat a little bit more, and um I'm kind of done with that phase as far as like trying to be bigger. I'm just am what I am at this point. And now, so it's kind of more similar to what I was doing at 115. I'm not running as much because I don't need to. Um, like I'm still running my miles, but it's not like a every single day like ritualistic thing. I am using, we got an Aerodyne bike, so I'm using that a little bit more. Um, and I think the I'd say the hardest adjustment originally was like once I did put on a little more muscle, it was like, okay, I'm stronger now, but and I also was making sure that I was still fast and could last long. But I had a couple injuries that came as a result of that, where putting on the size and hitting a little bit harder. But it actually was a blessing in disguise because I was able to adjust, and I actually was able to focus on different areas of my body, to heal those, and then to also strengthen other areas. So yeah, there was a little bit of a, like, I think just like the ligaments and stuff were a little bit stressed out for a minute there.
When you look at your career, Rose, I mean, could you ever have imagined the career that you've had? What was your initial goal when you got into it? I mean, you of course got your start on The Ultimate Fighter, winning that, and look at the success of that show. Look at the success of your career since you appeared on that show. Kind of take us
Yeah.
inside your mentality at this stage of your career as a fighter, and take us back to when you were first getting started. Did you ever imagine you'd have all the success that you've had at the UFC?
It's funny because I actually imagined all of this. I didn't know exactly what it was going to look like as far as like just me being here right now, but I had a glimpse of like what it is that I wanted to achieve, or what believed that I could achieve. When I wrote down on my list of goals and stuff, like when I first started my career, it was, to become a champion. It was to you know, excuse me, it was to buy a house and do all these things, and get my grandma to the States. And then one of the farther on the list goals, and this is probably when I was early 20s, but I was probably about like 22, maybe 23, but I did say to become two division champion. I had a question mark next to it because it was so far in the distance, so I believed that I could, but there was definitely like, I still gotta, I imagined it, but it was definitely very blurry in my mind.
Thug Rose is with us here on Bad Dog Sports Radio. Jake Asman here on Nightcap. The name Thug Rose, just the nickname Thug, I would argue it's one of the greatest nicknames in all of sports. For those who maybe haven't followed your career, I know there's a lot of UFC fans who are just starting to really get into the sport the last couple of years. Can you let the audience know how you got that nickname?
Yeah. So I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and there's a lady. Her name's Erica Gibbs, and she saw me. I was I was kind of like the smallest. Like when you looked at me as a kid, like you would not think that I was. I mean, even now to this day, people don't really look at me and assume that I could fight or anything like that. But I was scrappy, and so I walked around with an attitude. I think, especially in Milwaukee, like you know, no matter who you are, you always got to be like on the lookout for somebody to say something to you or to pick on you or whatever. So I just kind of created this aura of like, don't mess with me, because I wasn't like a good like I didn't really have that great a sense of humor, so I didn't really know how to like defend myself using my words. So so I had to like create some sort of persona, and so yeah, so I some tough girl persona, and eventually that's kind of what she was telling everybody, like, look, that's Thug Rose right there, you gotta don't mess with her. So that's where it came from, and then yeah, there's people started calling me that's Thug Rose.
It's
Every time I come by, oh, it's Thug Rose.
it's a great nickname. It really is. And
Yeah.
I think what's so fun about watching you fight over the years. I mean, your fights are always exciting. I mean, you've been a part of some absolute classics in the history of the UFC. I don't know off the top of my head how many fight of the night bonuses that you've received, but they're always deserved because of what you have provided for fans of the sport. Do you get a sense that you get that love and appreciation from the UFC fans when you get a chance to interact with them?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Every time I go in public, anytime I meet people, it's like you never hear nothing negative or anything that you would think if you read stuff. But yeah, it's all love, and people are very respectful and very excited, especially here in Denver. I get so much love here, and so yeah, I'm definitely excited to be able to fight here.
If and when, let's say, Amanda Nunes returns, how do you see a potential fight between her and her former teammate Kayla Harrison playing out?
Man, that's a very interesting matchup. I don't know. I mean, I love Kayla. I think she's super impressive and super strong. I think but man, it's really hard to ever like. I just feel like Amanda is the greatest. And so yeah, I see. I would kind of maybe favor Amanda in that fight. The only difference is she's been kind of like off. She would be off the couch as of right now. I mean, I'm sure she's training all the time, but um so it'd be interesting to see if maybe there's any ring rust or anything like that, which I don't even really believe in that. But so there's that factor. But Kayla is obviously super active. That would be interesting to see if they could do that at 45 too, or would it be 35? I don't know. You know what I mean? So um but yeah, I definitely think that's a fight that should happen for sure.
Thug Rose with us here. Finally, Thug, I know, of course, you're going to pick yourself to win, but when you look at this fight, are you expecting a 5-round battle against Tracy Cortez on Saturday, or do you envision a stoppage type of victory for you?
I don't put any expectations out there. I just kind of be in the present moment, and whatever I'm prepared for, you know, the like a difficult fight and 5 rounds and a war and all that stuff. I'm prepared for all of that. But I mean, that's my goal, is to always get it as finished as soon as possible. And so yeah, we're very prepared for that as well, and I do believe that I'll be able to make that happen. And so yeah, I could see myself finishing this fight for sure. It's just, yeah, it's just a matter of like whatever is in God's plans, and I kind of just have to submit to that.
Fight night, UFC Denver, Thug Rose in her hometown, taking on a big time opponent, Tracy Cortez, this upcoming Saturday night. Thug Rose, really appreciate you joining us. Good luck on Saturday. And I know I speak for so many UFC fans out there. It's been an honor to watch your career so far, and hopefully you still have a bunch of great fights left in you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Quick break and we'll continue. It's Jake Asman with you. It's Nightcap right here on Mad Dog Sports Radio on Sirius XM, Channel 82.